we'll call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. First item on the agenda is look for an approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now we'll move into the organization of officers for the Board of Zoning Appeals. And you want to walk through with everyone?
Sure. Thank you. I think most of you are here for Plan Commission as well. The same process is going to apply for Board of Zoning Appeals. First order of business is appointment of an attorney for the coming year. Again, I would be more than happy to serve should the board want me to continue in that respect. But that would start with a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Ann.
All right. Thank you very much. The next order of business would be election of officers for Board of Zoning Appeals. We have President, Vice President, Recording Secretary, Lisa Wemhoff within her role, and Building and Planning Department has customarily, or that role has customarily served as Recording Secretary. Currently, Shane Cobble serves as President, Kevin McIntyre is Vice President. So you can choose to vote for each office independently, or if everyone is comfortable with keeping the same roles for the coming year, you can vote in bank.
I make a motion we vote in bank.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, I think we're set.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Okay, next item on the agenda then is to make the proof of publication for this meeting a matter of public record and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay, we have 4 petitions before the board today. The first of which is Brad Logan on behalf of National Oil and Gas requesting a special exception of use in an I-2 zoned area at 304 North 8th Street in Decatur. Refers to City Code 150.090-1 through 150.198 I-2 Industrial Expansion District. Given that, I would entertain a motion to make the affidavits for the applicant's petition a matter of record.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Mr. Logan, you want to step up to the microphone there, or bring your group, and tell us what you're trying to accomplish here.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Weil would like to sell their I-2 property from adjoining National Oil and Gas. This is Mr. Mosier representing National Oil and Gas. He can tell you what his intentions are.
Yeah, so thank you. My name is Scott Mosier, President of National Oil and Gas, Bluffton, Indiana. So our intentions for the building will be to have dry storage for packaged products and drones, and also have room to park a vehicle inside, especially in the wintertime. And then we're also going to move the fence to the north so that we have better ingress and egress for our transport truck. Right now our transport truck, it's pretty tight getting in and out of that walk plant. And then in the future, we're fairly soon, we're going to work with IDM, and we're going to do some improvements to the walk plant. And we're going to probably do a little bit of expanding to the north, take out a couple tanks and add a couple tanks. Increase, do the piping and improve the diking and everything, just bringing it up to standard. It's a fairly old bulk plant and getting a little tired.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No. I just have one in general. What's dry storage at a facility like this? Like, what do you store that's dry?
Oh, packaged oils, quartz, drums.
Gotcha.
DEF. It's a heated building, and DEF can't be frozen or freeze, so
Gotcha.
make it nice for the heat.
Okay.
Will the traffic increase?
No, I don't foresee there being a lot more, trucks in and out. I don't think our volume is going to increase just because we're buying this or making improvements to the ball.
Modernized.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Kurt, you got any issues?
Okay. Then the board would hear comments from anyone in the audience in opposition. Okay, seeing none, board will hear comments from anyone in favor. Okay, hearing none, I offer the board opportunity for any further discussion.
No.
Okay, then on to the finding of facts. The board may authorize a special exception for certain uses as defined in this chapter, providing the applicant has provided information that the proposed special exception will be in compliance with all applicable conditions and requirements of this chapter. The establishment, maintenance, or operation of this special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Yes, agree, or no, disagree?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all the requirements set forth in City Code 150.263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted. Granted.
Granted.
All right, well, you are approved. Thank you for coming in. Okay.
Sign it.
Yeah, sorry, the senator to sign it.
Sorry, I got that.
Chris. Okay, the next petition before the board is for Kirby Harkless of 641 North 2nd Street here in Decatur, requesting a special exception for square footage of a residence. Refers to City Code 150.049, minimum building size. Principal buildings shall have a minimum ground floor area of 800 square feet. I would entertain a motion to make the affidavits for the applicant's petition a matter of record.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
The motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Mr. Harkless? Yeah, if you could step up and just walk us through what the request is.
Hi there.
Ready?
Currently, we own a 3 or 5-plex building. It's detached, and then there's a detached garage that we'd like to make the garage into a 4th apartment complex, basically just a single bedroom. And yeah, it doesn't quite meet the 800 square feet, but we're just shy by a few square feet. But working with the building department to continue it after its approval if we can get it.
Any questions from the board?
Is the infrastructure there to be apartments and everything?
Well, it's this back building here, which is currently a garage.
Yeah.
He wants to turn that in basically into an apartment, small
With-
house, whatever you call it.
Okay.
He's currently about 32 square feet under where our minimum requirement is. So I've sat down with Kirby and we've actually went through and looked at the plans and went through what he has to do in order to bring it up to current residential code.
Okay.
So you're content?
I'm content. He's got plenty of distance between the garage and the house that meets Indiana fire code.
What about address and things like that? I'm not
So we're
sure.
gonna have to figure out an address for it.
Because it faces the alley, correct, or would face the alley?
It'll be the same. It'll be the same off Second Street. We just need to figure out how to label it.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then the board will hear comments from those in the audience in opposition. Seeing none, the board would hear comments from anyone in favor. Seeing and hearing none, any final questions or comments from the board? Kurt?
No.
Okay, well, then we'll move to the findings of fact. So the board may authorize a special exception for certain uses as defined in this chapter, providing the applicant has provided information for that proposed special exception will be in compliance with all applicable conditions and requirements of this chapter. The establishment, maintenance, or operation of a special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Yes, agree, no, disagree.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding for uses permitted in the district.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designated or so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all the requirements set forth in Code 150.263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted. Granted.
Granted.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Archulus, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda today is Rob Parker on behalf of Crossroads Community, which is requesting a special exception of use in an R2 zoned area at 519 North 2nd Street here in Decatur. Refers to City Code 150.067, contingent uses permitted by special exception, boarding or lodging house. I would entertain a motion to make the applicant's petition a matter of record.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, Mr. Parker.
Rob Parker, Director of Crossroads Community, Kevin Biggs, Board Chair. So we currently operate two transitional living houses in Adams County, both in Bern. We'd like to use this as our first owned property. We've done so far everything else. We don't want to change the footprint. We'd like to leave everything as is. Obviously need an update. I feel like we have good community support. The commissioners have backed us in starting the jail reentry program this past year. We've got good relationships with community corrections, good relationships with our county offices, and our local community, the church community. So we'd be willing to continue to move forward on a house that's been sitting for quite a while and do something really good with it. I'm sure there's questions, and I'm ready to answer some of those today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Kurt?
Brad and I went down and did a home inspection, top to bottom. There's a few things that have to be addressed in this house. There's
for the most part, is pretty solid. So it's just, there's some things we need to take care of. Nothing major. Okay.
How many people would be residing in the home at any given time?
So we figured on 7 total, which is I think part of what we need to ask for today. I think is the exemption for more than 5. We would be willing to do less if that's what we needed to do. We feel like the space would be appropriate for that number of people. It would be comparable to the way we've designed programming up until now.
And there would be a staff member from Community Crossroads that would be essentially a resident supervisor?
Yeah,
or?
there's a non-resident house leader in every house that's not in the program. Actually, we have someone here today that fills that role on our female staff. In case you have any questions. Not to put anybody on the spot.
And that individual would be comprised within the 7 people that,
Yes.
that would be in the home? Okay.
How many square feet is the house?
Square footage. I should have memorized this by now, right? $21.56.
As far as parking, no issues there.
I think we can squeak by. It's a little tight. It has a 2-car garage. We'd have to probably utilize some part of that, and there's 2 spots in front of that, and about 2 spots in the front. So, sure, that sound right to you?
Actually, you can fit 3 at the front. Comfortable. 4 with the pushing.
Great. It's been thin. It would be an oddity that we'd have 6 people even driving in the house. So once people get driver's license, they usually have a little money. They've been at work for a while, and they're usually on their permit.
Gotcha. What is the average time span that people would be staying at the house, or does it just vary?
It does. So what we usually tell people is I don't want anybody to stay long. They need to be here. I don't want anybody to leave before they're ready. But I'd say a year is a good, or 12 months will capture most people. I think right now we only have 1 person that's been here longer than that, 16 months.
Does Crossroads have any vehicles of its own that would be parked or maintained there?
Our own personal vehicles would be kind of coming and going as we visit. But in general, I have a manager that she pops in and out all the places. Nobody would be there for any long length of time.
Okay. And just, I'm familiar with Crossroads, but just in general, what kind of services are provided? Who would be living in the house? What's the nature of the facility?
Sure. So for the most part, anyone who's in transition within Adams County. So like right now, we've got 5 referrals right now that we'll probably do interviews for this week. We have somebody that's come out of the judicial system. We have somebody who's come out of a recovery situation. We have somebody who just lost a husband and is in a situation where that relationship fell apart for whatever reason, and now she's trying to get on her feet again. So we really just want to be neighbors, taking care of neighbors. We don't draw a lot of parameters on who, but we do have good criteria. Like we know we're better served to tell you who we don't work with. So we've got some good criteria on who we don't do well with. So we don't work with anyone that's a sex offender, no one that has a history of fire starting, nobody that's violent. So we have some good parameters. We have a good neighbor policy that comes into play. Like we really think about how we live amongst the people next to us. So.
Well, that's good.
What's the good neighbor policy?
Being a good neighbor, you get kicked out. I mean, that's pretty much. If the neighbors have problems with you, I have a problem with you. It's really pretty. I always tell people it's really just common decency, like the way we treat one another.
And where do the referrals come from?
Combination of places, quite a few from community corrections, quite a few from the jail, get some from different treatment centers, a lot of private individuals, a lot of churches will have, just like I have somebody that's affiliated in some fashion, maybe a lot of times it's a son or a nephew or a niece, and I'm not sure what to do with that type of situation. So they come from kind of all over the community. There's almost nowhere we don't take referrals from.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
I think you talked about the square footage, but how many bedrooms are presently in the home?
So there are currently 4. We've added one of the rooms in the downstairs will be a bedroom. So it has like 4 living rooms. So you have to see the house, but I was watching living there.
Okay.
And you walk through this plan, you know the
We'll
layout.
walk through it. There's 4 bedrooms upstairs. Like he said, there's a family room off the back. It's a dining room, and there's technically 2 living rooms up front, or if you really want to call one a glorified foyer. But it's a good sized house.
Is your request to allow for up to 7 unrelated individuals to reside in the home at any given time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't feel like I answered the last part of your question from before on what services we provide. I feel like what we got to talk and I forgot that part. But Crossroads really focuses on just the housing piece, and we do collaborations to accomplish the services. We have done some like peer recovery stuff, but in general, we're looking to just be deeply collaborative. We want other people within the community to be able to do what they do well, and we'll do transitional housing because we feel like that's what we do well.
Okay.
So we're not necessarily providing the services, but we'll collaborate to get everything accomplished that's needed.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, then the board will hear comments from anyone in the audience in opposition. Seeing and hearing none, we would hear comments from anyone in favor.
I'd like to speak. I'm Ian Gilbert, most of you know me. I'm the Director of Adams County Community Corrections. I've been the Director for the last 18 years. I also serve as the Executive Director of Drug Free Adams County, the Chair of the Adams County Protection Team, and the Vice Chair of the Adams Wells Crisis Shelter. About probably 16 years ago, think back to when Dr. Brody's office moved from First Street to a location now. There was a gentleman by the name of Jerry Setzer, another man from Bern, Mark Conrad, who were willing to purchase that building and turn it into a recovery home. And thankfully, I guess we don't have opposition here today, but I wasn't here that time. I made the mistake of not coming, and there was opposition in the audience. And what was said was, we don't want those people next to our business affecting our customers. We don't want those people in our neighborhood. It's going to ruin our neighborhood. And the fact of the matter is who are those people? Okay? Your parents, your kids, your spouse, your nieces, nephews, your best friend, the person you sit next to at church. That's those people. Since that house got voted down, I've seen hundreds of people throughout my career that could have had a life-changing experience in a transitional housing setting, and I think Decatur needs that. Now, community corrections, we refer to wherever we can find a place for somebody to live. You don't got a place to come out of jail, a place to go live, be sober, be better in your community, give back. We'll send you to Fort Wayne. We'll send you to Auburn, where there's several houses. We send them to Bern now. We have somebody living in the Bern home that's within walking distance of this home where they grew up, but we don't have a place in Decatur. I just simply ask, don't make the mistake that was made 17 years ago, because lives have been lost, because we couldn't find a place in our neighborhood for those people to live. And I am a big supporter of this, and I will kick Rob's butt if he doesn't do what he says he's going to do. He may look big, he's a pretty nice guy, but I'm holding him accountable, and I've met with Kevin for the last 5 years at least, it seems like, over this. There hasn't been a day since that house got voted down right here that I haven't driven around Decatur and said, that'd be a good spot, or could we make that spot? Would that be the next spot that maybe the neighbors wouldn't say those people? And when I saw the house on 2nd, I called Rob or grabbed him after a meeting and said, hey, you need to look at this house on 2nd Street. It might be the next house. It just seems like all the pieces are falling together. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions for me, like I said, I've probably dealt with 50 or more transitional/recovery/sober living/whatever they call it now in my career, and it's a needed thing. It's a needed thing in every community. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Beer?
Hi, Eric Beard, Chief Deputy at the Sheriff's Office. I'm here to represent the Sheriff's Department. Dan is actually, or the Sheriff is in Indianapolis, so he asked me to come by and just let you know that he supports this and that he supports Rob. I don't have a good speech that he did, but I just want to let you know that there's some support here.
No, appreciate it. Any final questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll move to read the findings of fact. So the special exception would be for up to 7 individuals to live in the home at any given time. So the board may authorize a special exception for certain uses as defined in this chapter, providing the applicant has provided information that the proposed special exception will be in compliance with all applicable conditions and requirements of this chapter. The establishment or maintenance or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Yes, agree, no, disagree.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all other requirements set forth in 150.263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted. Granted.
Granted.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, come on. I'm struggling. As usual.
All good? Okay, the last item on the agenda this evening is, our last petition before the board, I should say, is for Seth Huber of 500 North 9th Street, requesting to make a modification of the business hours that were adopted by the board on the 16th of August 2022. Mr. Huber, how are you? Not too bad. So you want to walk us through the modification again?
We're currently still 4, we'd like to go to 5. 7 to 5 will be off right now.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Has he gone past the current hours that we got established?
I've got 2 emails where he's went past 4 o'clock.
That's since our last meeting.
How far past?
One was probably about a half hour. We got one last night, about 7 minutes. Let's see what it is.
So my question for you would be, if you're running 7 to 4 now and running past, what's to say you go 7 to 5 and don't run past?
We're still going to keep the 7 to 4, but so we don't get in trouble for going past 7 minutes or 20 minutes. So nothing will change. It'll be exactly the same. It's just 4 to 5. You know, why get in trouble for that, really?
Gotcha. So what's happening after 4 o'clock? I mean, I think we've discussed this in previous meetings, but...
Pretty much, yeah. There was a line of trucks. I think yesterday, actually, we had a truck stuck. We're trying to pull out. So that's what we're...
Gotcha.
One time is, 7-4 is not a problem. Just once in a while, trucks get lined up and just get them knocked out pretty much.
Gotcha.
Do you have a cutoff time for trucks to make deliveries? So they need to be kind of in the lot or lined up, ready to unload?
Some of the trucks were sitting there since 11. I mean, they've been there for 3-4 hours.
Okay.
So yeah, no, our cutoff is 2:30.
Okay. And that would not change even if hours would be extended? Okay.
Last time you said you were going to maybe change the way you loaded and stuff to cut down on the noise.
Yeah,
That really hasn't happened.
we've added more dunnage, and we got rid of one loader driver. Marcus is running the yard now. He's been staying on them. He's been there 2 months. What's that?
Well, what goes on over by the office? That seems to be the noisiest.
That's where they're unloading and breaking the bundles apart and organizing them. Because every beam has a serial number, so whenever whoever the job site is requesting, they want that serial number for that beam, so we got to find that every time. So it's not like you just give them any certain beam; they want that particular one.
Makes sense.
So we break them open, write down all the serial numbers. So, like the airport, we did airport hangar in Pittsburgh, and they know every beam a year or two prior before they even get there. It's kind of crazy, really. It's all engineered in there.
Makes sense. Any other questions from the board? I know we've had a couple complaints about hours, running past the 4 o'clock time, right? I mean, anything from your perspective, Ann?
I think the noise levels continue to be the primary concern based on the written concerns received by the board. It really does come down to the noise. Whether or not extending hours affects that, inhibits or exacerbates it, that's a decision for the board to consider. One consideration could be limiting or kind of making them continue to cut off deliveries. If their stop time is 2:30 or trucks must be in by 2:30, that could be a condition of any kind of change to their use. But the board really has the ability to deny the request, modify it, or accept it as applied for. So.
I mean, having a little background in logistics and trucking, I mean, for at 2:30, what you're cutting off what exactly?
Any trucks that pull in after 2:30,
Gotcha. So no loading happens loading happens 2:30 to 4 currently, right?
Yeah, so if their trucks are there prior, they're already...
So 2:29, they need to be there to get loaded, basically, right?
On any given day, how many trucks would you say you have lined up at 2:30?
It could be 1 or 2.
Yeah, it could be 1 or 2. It could be 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It depends when they roll in from over the road.
Depends on where they're coming from.
Okay.
My trucks, I get in there pretty early, but I can't handle all 3.
Sure. I guess my concern would be like, what happens if you've got trucks lined up and 4 o'clock hits? What do you do with them then?
You just hustle whenever, you just drive, you hustle to get it done by 4. That's what we do, we just hustle.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah.
And by hustling, you kind of kick up more noise,
Yeah, sure.
potentially.
Yeah. We really try to explore at the time.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
I don't know. I've got an issue with the mud in the street, but I don't know if that's for us to say anything.
We addressed that this morning.
Yeah.
He's got to get some stone in there because there's getting mud in the street, and that could get us fines from them to get some of the storms through. Well, that's a neighborly thing too, right?
Yeah, it all falls back to what Rob said about being a good neighbor.
So we're going through all this too, right? Again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, any other questions from the board at this point?
No.
And then the board would hear comments from any folks in the audience that are in opposition of potentially extending hours.
We live directly across.
Can you state your name, please? Sorry.
Pardon me?
Can you state your name, please?
Teresa Simon, and this is my husband Rod.
Yep.
And we live directly across. And during the summer, spring, fall, we sit on the porch constantly. They were in the lot last night till 6:30. There was a truck stuck, and she noticed that the forklifts were trying to get them out. I took pictures, but unfortunately my phone, I've got to get it set where I've got date and time on it for you. And they are jailbreaking terribly. I called the police to make sure that there was a jailbreaking law in the town. They said yes, and they asked me not to do a complaint. They said, please call the owner and have him talk to his drivers. And the jailbreaking is bad. The noise is terrible. And they're not, I'm sorry, I'm not calling him a liar, but I'm sorry. I live right there. I hear it. I see it. And they're after 4 o'clock. And like I said, I took a picture at 10 till 5 last night of them trying to get the truck. Because my husband said, well, they're over there revving because the semi stuck in the mud down by the office, the trailer office. And they're in and out on the weekends too. Because I took pictures of that. So, and I live right there. And I'm directly right across. So I see everything. I hear everything.
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Entertain any other comments in opposition?
Well, not totally opposition, but I also live right there on the corner, and I know she's directly across, so that sound goes and hits her house. I live right around the corner, and my husband works 3rd shift, so he, sleeps during the day. And during the spring and summer, it definitely was loud. We don't have central air, so we have window air, or our windows are open, so yes, it was loud. Some banging, stuff like that. I do think that it's definitely gotten better. There's been a change, because I also work from home and I work down there, so I definitely think that there's been a change. I know that Seth's heart is trying to make it better for all of us. He doesn't want it to be, terrible. I do know with the mud and stuff, that road floods absolutely terrible. And so it's always water-bound, muddy, icy. It's a terrible situation. So I think that's a little bit part of that, but yeah. So that, I guess that's my point. Is I think yes, it has gotten better. I can't say it's perfect. I don't write a tally mark on when this and that, but I know that she's directly across, so she hears that. But I also in the middle of the night will hear the train slamming and bumping and stuff like that. It hasn't worked out Monday, so he's like, oh, yep, another train, So I do hear that stuff as well, so, but I can't say it's not, but I have heard that before too. But yeah, I really think that he's trying a little bit better than definitely what it was in the summer and spring. So.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in opposition?
Yeah, I'm Bethany, and I live in Beatrice unpaved, and I'm home a lot more now, and it is awful. It shakes my house. The noise. When 9th Street is flooded, they're coming down. We're having enough problems with 10th Street. We don't need constant noise down there. Speeding on it. We have a lot of retired people. That's not a lot of that. But it's a good neighbor thing allows us.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments from anyone in opposition? State your
My
name.
name is Jeff Ivins, and I considered being a resident of this community. I am not, however. My friend does live very close, and we actually, I had been looking at possibly moving in the general area, which she lives off of Indiana Street. There was a couple of houses over there, but when I started spending more time over at her house, I was like, I work in a large fab shop that's loud, and might I tell you, my hearing's not the best, and I wish you guys all used your microphones because I could hardly make out anything.
Sorry.
But I will say this, I deal with metal, sheet steel, beams, angle,
there's definitely ways to load things that's not near as noisy. You're never going to get away from some of your semi sounds. I don't know how you're going to remedy that. And you're not going to get rid of your beep, beep, beep on your fork trucks, because when they're in reverse, they have to have that. But, you know, if you were within your hours, but then without your proper loading, you're not going to get out of that screeching that you can hear all throughout town. I don't know how, without proper loading, you're going to get rid of that. It is continue.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more thing to ask. I believe that if they're allowed to be there during, not any hours, but hours, but they just can't be loading after 4. So they could be there and doing office work. They could be there, doing things that aren't noisy after hours or before their hours, but just not loading anytime before their hours, correct? Okay.
The only restrictions we've been enforcing is the loading, which involves the noise.
Okay.
For us to go in and tell Mr. Huber he can't be on his property after 4 o'clock, that'd be like me telling Kevin you can't work on furnaces or AC units after 4 o'clock.
Be nice.
Or Mr. Schnitz, you can't conduct business after 4 o'clock. We've been holding him to the steel and the steel only. After 4 o'clock, if he's doing it after 4 o'clock, he gets a phone call from me. We have a nice discussion.
Yeah, personally, I would just say that trucks get stuck in the mud, right? I mean, you have to come up with a way to create a contingency plan here, but stuff happens, right? I mean, if you get a foot of snow, something's going to get stuck in a foot of snow, but you got to come up with a contingency plan. We've had that discussion a few times. Being a good neighbor, keeping things as clean as possible. Obviously, need to continually work on the loading process, whatever it takes to make it less obtrusive or intrusive to people, I guess.
Yeah, that's my drop market where you can sit in and still keep improving.
How much loading and unloading are you doing at 7 a.m.? Or is that like when you guys show up for the day to get things
I'm
prepped?
there at 7 a.m. every day by myself.
Okay.
I don't do any loading at 7.
Okay.
Because what I was told is I'm not supposed to load or nothing without 2 people being there for safety reasons. So I'll load, I'll get our paperwork together, set it, wait on the guys to get there, and by that time it's daylight and we start operating.
Okay.
What time is that? About 8 o'clock or so, I would guess.
7:30. Yeah.
Okay.
What time do your first...
Some there, they already there. When I was,
It's possible to do, yeah.
Okay.
Not every day, but yeah, there is for sure. Trucks waiting already. Which is ideal because then they're not getting crammed up 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you'd rather than them just there 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, well,
Would you consider any kind of modification of your existing hours so it's not so much an expansion of time, but just a shifting?
8 to 5 or something like that.
Either 8 to 5, 7:30 to 4:30, something like...
Very much so. That'd be better, yeah.
Okay.
Because like he said, he do his office work from 7 to 8 peacefully. I think 7's a little early to get started. But yeah, I agree.
Okay. So maybe like 8 to 5 would be an alternative option?
And that gives us a little more grace in the afternoon whenever our cutoff is 2:30, so not have to scramble as much when there's 6, 8 trucks sitting there at 1, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So you still observe the 2:30 cutoff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I have it all on our Raycon. I could give you guys a sample of what we give every person. It says come down Dayton on the highway, and then we have all that broken down.
That they're following the truck route?
Yep. And that we did put in, if anybody goes through the church parking lot, we're going to take $200 and we're going to donate to the church. And we have one. We can add anything in there, too, things that we've ever had. So.
Okay.
I did go with Josh Zimmerman this morning. He was going to go down and look at the stormwater inlets on 9th Street. So I told him they were backing up. There was pictures you showed me of water line. So he was going to go down and take a look at them.
Is that something that's new? Or it's been going on for a while?
Don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen it, but I can't.
That goes back to GE days.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. With that being said, we haven't heard any comments from those in favor. Is anyone in the audience?
I'm Karen Foreman. I live probably 100 feet from this. I call it a disaster. Nothing has been done. It's went from worse to terrible. I mean, it's always been bad. And every time it's like, I fire somebody, I do this and that. Well, I'll get it fixed. And nothing has changed at all. Not one thing has improved. So, and it's loud. I wouldn't know if they were there or not. I'm in my house and I hear it. With the door shut, the window shut, you know, it's the whole, it's draining. I can't babysit anymore. I mean, it's the whole thing is there's no improvement and I don't know what to do. I am so sick of complaints. No, there's no help. It's not the hours, it's the noise. And I'm not alone. I mean, I'm right there. My neighbors hate it. There's people that work, that can't make it. There's not one person besides her that like it. So I don't know where to go from here. And what's the sound pollution? What is that? Or noise pollution? What is that? So it's not really the hours. It's do something about the noise. Wrap the thing, insulate. There's got to be some way of doing it to where it's not screeching and dragging and banging. And every now and then it will fall at night. I don't know. It's happened a few times where being just out of the blue and it's not the train.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
As to the noise levels, and I know that was one of the conditions to coming back. Can you maybe update the board as to the efforts that are being made to continually reduce or kind of keep the noise levels?
I feel like we have improved. I mean, everybody probably doesn't agree with me, but we've used more dunnage. I mean, that helps, and trying to take our time, go slower. That helps. Time.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to eliminate the noise in a whole. I mean, I wish we could. I really do.
You're still exploring alternatives. I mean, I know dunnage is one part of it, but, you know, I think in previous meetings we've discussed other alternatives, right? I mean, is there a way to...
So the word can't hear work. That just shredded pretty much immediately, the too much pressure.
Yeah, I mean,
it's open to doing it if anybody knows anything to put on forks or...
I'm not sure fork trucks are the answer.
Yeah, I think that's the other question. Is there an alternative method to load with a crane or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's an operator versus a forklift driver.
But crane over at cranes, which would be cool to do someday, yeah. It's with the whole, I've been a lot of yards that are just over at cranes over time, but that won't happen tomorrow. It takes a lot of fun.
I would like to say that, you know, back to, I've worked in fab shops. I work in fab shop. When we load, we have a system where we load and put our forks in a rack, and we have straps that go down. You can use it with chains, you can use it with straps with hooks, and you lift from over the top. And you
Top, is that what you're saying? Yeah. Kind of like the crane. I know what you're saying.
Where you use the chains to actually...
Pick up from the top.
Yeah.
That hangs from the forks, right?
Yes, you don't have to drag your
Not
foot
just through. Yeah, you're trying to get between the truck and the beam, but it won't screech. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I've been looking into that. It's not a bad idea. Try to kind of use the fork truck as a crane. So.
Yeah, I mean, they make all kinds of apparatus. They're apparatus to do that. It just depends what you're trying to pick up, right?
Right. Well, on some of the fork trucks, we can't pick up a whole load, but we can probably do layers. I mean, it'd be cool to just pick up the whole thing at once and grab it off. But
I mean, I assume the screeching and the banging comes from the forks hitting, right?
Yeah,
And if one falls off, that's a whole nother... you got to pick it up off the ground, right?
It's hard to get it off the concrete, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? So I think that from what I'm understanding, what I've heard, what we're looking at is 8 to 5 with being a 2:30 cutoff for trucks inbound and outbound, where that's the last loads of the day have to be in the lot by 2:30.
Yeah.
Is that the understanding of the board?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, we would, any final questions, comments?
I got a question. Okay, you said there's 8 to 5, and the cutoff of trucks going in is 2:30?
2:30.
Okay, so can they unload it after 2:30?
Yeah, they'll work until 5 p.m. Instead of 4 p.m., it would be 5 p.m.
There's not, and this would be somewhat, what's being considered is somewhat of a compromise. It's not an expansion of any hours. It is a modification of the permissible hours for loading and unloading, which is primarily the noise considerations. There would be an ongoing kind of consideration and requirement to continually work to reduce that, knowing that that is a primary concern of adjacent property owners.
I'm sorry. I would say this is in a public forum to say I am going to continue to work on this and look into these alternatives, right? I mean, and I'd love for Kurt or Brad to see it when you go get this apparatus, because I know you'll find one somewhere. You can call Krukerberg and tell him what you're looking for. He'll figure it out, right? But there's a method to get this done. In the steel shop that I used to operate a business across the street from, I didn't hear a peep, and they ran basically 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But but it is your opportunity to state that on the record that you are going to improve this, because your neighbors aren't very happy, right? And not
I don't like that. Yeah, no, that's absolutely. Yeah.
And I think the board is cognizant of efforts that are being made, and as you said in kind of the RACON, the document that you hand out to drivers, or that you're holding them accountable about being neighborly or being aware that they're kind of coming through residential areas on their way.
So I'll put that on there. Yeah. When they pull in, but that's about it.
Yeah. So there's recognition of effort. I think that there's just a distance yet to be traveled.
Without a doubt. Any other questions, comments?
No.
Okay. Then we will move to the findings of fact. Again, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 2:30 p.m. cutoff. Trucks coming into the yard, correct? That's when you have that 2:30 to 5 to finish your business, and trucks are out of the yard. And given what we've heard today, I would just say it sounds like you should be done in plenty of time, right? You're pushing 4:05 to 4:30 right now in instances.
We're just going to leave. Nothing's going to do exactly the same. It's just getting a little break of Russian at 3:30.
And that may, in and of itself, assist with some of the noise if you're not having to hustle and move.
Hustle as much, where they're being a lot more careless.
Okay.
And then I'd also ask Kurt to check. I'd like to see this, whatever modification you can make to the loading process, right? I mean, that should help out significantly. At least it's an alternative.
And make sure you don't go past 5.
Yeah.
Just to
Okay. So we will move to read the findings of fact. And the board may authorize a special exception, which in this case is a modification of hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 2:30 p.m. cutoff for trucks entering the yard. Right? They can leave afterwards, but they got to be out of there by 5, right? For certain uses as defined in this chapter, providing the applicant has provided information that the proposed special exception will be in compliance with all applicable conditions and requirements of this chapter. The establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Yes, agree, or no, disagree.
Yes.
Yes.
The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes.
Yes.
Special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all other requirements set forth in City Code 150.263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception modification of hours is granted or denied.
Granted. Granted.
Grant.
Okay, 8 to 5, no trucks in after 2:30. Any old business, Kurt?
No old business.
New business?
New business, Melissa Carew will be coming in for special exception of use in an I-2 zoned area at 1009 Washington Street. Currently, she uses the kitchen out of the Mirage makes meals.
Yep.
She wants to put a kitchen in this property at 1009 Washington Street.
That little barn, garage, house looking deal
Kind of like a house.
on the corner there.
Right around the corner across from the pattern. She wants
Gotcha.
to move the kitchen into the house. So, other than that, that's it.
Okay, what is the next meeting date? 21st. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
None.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks everyone.